All right, so there is a group called Moms United. They are relaunching the End the War on Drugs campaign in the new year. It's going to be a social media push, so you might see it. One of the organizers of the group, Gretchen Bergman, is here to talk about this. Good morning.
Good morning.
When I read this, I was my eyebrows raised. I'm like, what, moms? So
why would moms, responsible moms, be saying this?
Why would and that's the question. Why would responsible moms or a group of responsible moms say we want the war on drugs to end? That makes no sense to me. Why?
Because the war on drugs is really a war waged against our own families. We've seen mass arrest and incarceration. The opioid overdose epidemic can even be tied into this because we're handling drug use and substance use disorders as if it's a criminal act rather than it's a public health issue that needs to be addressed with therapeutic, compassionate responses. So over the years, we've seen no improvement. We've spent over $1 trillion on a war on drugs that's been really disastrous, particularly in communities of color and poverty. It's decimating those communities by throwing people behind bars. Okay. You know, I want to correct one thing. The organization is a new path, Parents for Addiction Treatment and Healing. The campaign is Moms Unite to End the War on Drugs, and that's now a global campaign. And this hashtag Moms Resolutions social media campaign this year is really a response to all of the anger and hatred and violence and prejudice that we're seeing today. And we realize the intersection of the war on drugs, the war on women, the war on LGBTQ and immigrants, and the racial inequality. That's really, we have to address the whole thing as parents.
Okay, that is a lot. Yeah, I mean, these are a lot of big issues, and each and every one of these topics we could have a separate guest segment to talk about. Yeah. So let's stick with the drugs because right now that's what people will start seeing. Mm-hmm. And I will say the flip side of this is there's going to be people who say, well, if you take away the criminalization of drugs, if you take that away and you make everything legal, everything's legal, and you tax it and you make the money off of it, why do I have to pay for somebody else's drug use in terms of recovery or treatment?
Well, let me stop you there. Would you rather pay for it in terms of treatment, or would you rather pay for it with incarceration? We're already spending trillions of dollars on a war on drugs that's primarily going into a criminal justice system that doesn't work, that makes people cycle through the system constantly. My son was arrested years ago for marijuana possession, ended up spending 11 years cycling in and out of criminal justice system, not getting treatment, but learning terrible lessons about how to survive in a violent atmosphere. Were you happy that your taxpayer dollars went to put my son behind bars to his detriment, to the community's detriment? This is a precious life who's now a drug and alcohol counselor, but he lost a decade. Mm-hmm.
I hear what you're saying. I do hear what you're saying, but I also hear, and I'm sure some of the people at home are saying, but he got into it on his own accord in the first place.
Well, if you ask high school students, 57% of them will self-report that they have tried an illicit drugs. Mm-hmm. If we continue that, kicking people to the curb rather than addressing this issue, we're going to continue to have mass incarceration, and we're going to be losing more and more people to accidental overdose because they're afraid to self-report that they have a problem and need help.
So, Gretchen, tell me about the campaign and what we're going to actually be seeing on social media. What is it going to look like?
So each day for 7 days, there's a hashtag, Moms Will Remain Vigilant in Dismantling the War on Drugs. Moms Will Protect Human Rights and Dignities. In the face of hatred and anger, moms will be persistent in advocating for tolerance, for peace, for equality. So each 7 days, there's a meme that goes with it, and we're pushing it through social media. But again, that's understanding the broader concept that if we allow one person's human rights to be destroyed and we remain silent, then we become a part of the problem. So it's taking that moms who should care nothing more than the futures of their children and future generations. If we use our mom's moral authority to say, stop the anger, stop the violence, stop arresting people, stop throwing away lives, and protect rights and dignity and promote peace and tolerance in the face of hatred.
All right, Gretchen, thank you so much for your time this morning. I'm sure people will be seeing this all over their social media.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll have a quick break.